Like and subscribe and get after it and share with your buddies and talk about Florida State Clemson. And, last week we spent a lot of time wondering where our view, our vantage point was for the Florida State-NC State game. And we were wrestling with, how to get a handle on that. There was days and hours that went by in which I thought pretty confident about the game. And then other times where I didn't. Ultimately, I picked NC State to beat us, and it was it's funny in the gambling world. If you win a bet, but you were on the wrong side, you own it. You say I won by accident. I backdoored that cover that I didn't deserve, or somebody fumbled the ball in the last play of the game, or something crazy happens, and you get it. You win the bet, and you're happy to win the bet, but you were on the wrong side. Well, I picked NC State last week, but I was on the wrong side. Florida State is better than NC State, and they lost the game. And it's frustrating. So I win the bet, but I don't like it. I'm frustrated. I don't want to win that bet because I'd rather be right, because ultimately that process of being right and analyzing a game properly and knowing what a team is or is not and why a result's going to be what it is serves your larger purpose long term. And so I hated that last week I got it right, but got it wrong all at the same time. And I cannot get a feel for this week other than I don't think Florida State's going to be able to block Clemson. And I keep coming back to that point. That doesn't mean you can't win. It just makes it a lot harder to win. And I also think that there's an incorrect narrative out there. Tom, you wrote a piece. I don't know when it's going to go up on the site. I'm really looking forward to it. I checked earlier this morning. It wasn't there. It may be there now. Maybe I should do my due diligence before I come on. Warchant.com, your piece, I think you did a deep dive, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing that I would ask you there is this, because I've watched a lot of Clemson this year, a couple different reasons why, but I feel like DJ's had a good year. When I watch him play, I think he's a different guy than he was a year ago. He's less indecisive. He's a little more patient. He's more confident. He's playing with more confidence. Clemson isn't dynamic in the way that you're wowed by numbers and blown away by certain features of their offense. In a weird way, by Clemson standards, they're fairly pedestrian by their standards. Well, their standards are pretty high given that they had a bunch of top 10 draft picks at quarterback. So he may not be meeting that standard, but all of the numbers and the eye test tells me he's played really well. And so I pushed back yesterday on the fellas with Seminole Headlines and saying that I feel like he's played well. I don't think there's an indicator that he's going to come in and play poorly. He might. I do think if you're going to push back at me, you'd say that they haven't really played in an atmosphere like it's going to be here on Saturday night. And that is a fair counter. Atmosphere only does so much, but you could get to him maybe. You could perhaps get in his head because they're going to have to. And to me, it's going to have to be about bringing the heat and getting Rush off the edge and getting after him, because I think otherwise he'll make you pay.
Yeah, it's an interesting game plan, at least on its face. If you do what the previous games against Clemson suggest you should do. Now, against LSU, clearly the game plan for Adam Fuller was bring pressure, because if you do, then Daniel's eyes will drop and he'll be in scramble mode. And then we just got to clean that up. So can we get his eyes to drop, and then can we clean up the play afterwards? Well, you want to pressure DJ because his mechanics come off, but he is not a one read and go quarterback. He's not a guy who's going to panic at the sight of pressure and then take off and run. He's going to trade physical punishment in order to make a throw, but sometimes he does so to the level like a Ben Roethlisberger, where he will literally be in the process of being tackled as he's throwing the ball. And he trusts that frame, which is massive. He's lost some weight, but he's still a huge dude.
Yeah.
And that's when he can get in trouble. So you're bringing pressure, I think, this weekend, but for different reasons. Not to try to get this guy to go into scramble mode, but because if you don't, he is incredibly patient and he will wait. If you rush 3, if you rush 4, and you don't affect the pocket at all, he'll sit there and go through his progressions, and then he'll beat you that way. The numbers suggest, and so does watching the games, that if you don't get any pressure on him, his patience is such that he'll wait until something comes open and then he'll make the throw. So you've got to affect him at the lower half towards his feet. If you can do that, then his mechanics get sloppy, and then maybe, just maybe, he'll make a poor assumption. He'll get baited into a throw, and then he'll make an awful one. It'll look awful, but it has to be for the right reasons. He won't indiscriminately just make a poor throw into coverage. He'll make some poor throws that are incompletions, but never one that puts the ball in danger unless you pressure him. So we come back to the original point, which is I think the game plan has to call for pressure, but for different reasons than earlier in the year, say against LSU.
The other reason it has to work is that you don't do anything else well. Florida State's defense doesn't do well sitting back. I hate it. If you think about the mush rush against Louisville, I thought that hurt us badly. If you think about situations where they're not able to, if they have to play zone, they're not very good, is my point, Florida State. So I think you're geared up for man and pressure and taking risks. You might get beat. You could get beat, but, you can get beat lots of ways. I would choose the way in which you're most aggressive, and I would choose the way that your personnel is best suited for. So, to me, for Florida State, I think it's about, listen, you might not have to bring anybody. You might not.
That's the huge thing, because it's not necessarily that DJ's numbers tank against the blitz. They tank against pressure,
sure,
which can come in the form of a 4-man rush if you're good enough.
Jared Verse might be able to be the difference maker in this game. And I think I think that's probably the route here is to hope that he can win that one-on-one matchup. It's surprising that he's been as good as he has been in year one in such a massive leap forward in competition. I mean, there's a guy that we thought would come around to being very, very good because his athleticism, his strength, his fast twitch all suggested, oh, he's going to be a monster. But there was going to be a time where, you had to make that transformation and learn the hard way with some matchups against some bigger kids and kids that have been in programs for a while. And that just simply hasn't been the case. When he's out there, he makes a difference, period. It is from now. It is from right now. It is the game started. He's making a difference. He's that kind of player. So let's hope that happens here. He is an intense player. Saturday night will be an intense atmosphere. If he feeds off of it and becomes a one-man wrecking crew and Clemson has to slide protections and chip, then all of a sudden, obviously, you're in a position to take advantage of that and do some other things with your defense.
The thing I'd try if I was Clemson at least once or twice, and you got to pick your spot. You obviously don't do this in the third and long, but what DJ reminds me of in the pocket, just in the pocket in his movements, is kind of like Garrett Schrader from Syracuse, where, no, he's not going to run a 4.5, but if you miscontain, he'll loop around you, and then he's smart enough to know, oh, well, now I've got a bunch of running room because you should be somewhere else. You're not.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take my 7 yards. He's been very smart this year, has DJ. The crazy thing is he can get fooled by assuming something pre-snap that's not so. Florida State isn't great at disguise and or execution of zone principles, but I think they might try some this weekend anyway. Look at the Boston College pick. I'm sure you didn't, folks, but I'll tell you about it. They lined up in man coverage on the right. It looks like the slot's in man and the outside's in man. It's not. The slot defender actually cuts underneath the outside receiver. DJ faces pressure. He thinks he's got an easy little comeback route on the right. It looks like the worst interception you've ever seen.
Well, I know which one that is. I've seen Tate's interception against from a couple years ago.
Anthony Richardson earlier this season also had one that was unbelievable against Kentucky.
That's high on the list.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's.
But you say, why, DJ? That's awful. He's making an assumption, and the pressure speeds up the clock, and so therefore he's forced into a bad decision. But with the running ability, he's very smart there as well. So this is a daunting task, but maybe, just maybe, they haven't seen a player like Jared Verse on their schedule, because their schedule to this point hasn't been all that impressive. Their ACC games are against good foes like Wake Forest and NC State, but do they have a defensive line like Florida State? Did Georgia Tech? Does Boston College? I don't think so.
DJ on the year is completing 64%, a little more than 64% of his passes. He's got 14 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's by and large looked very, very good. Without getting pressure on him, I think he'll look good again. So it's important. We'll see if they do. As we talk about in every game that we go into these days, I could focus on Antonio Williams. I could focus on Bo Collins. I could look at those receivers. I could talk about that. But at the end of the day, with as beat up as Florida State's been and the longing for Fabian Lovett to get back, I begin every game by looking between the tackles and deciding whether or not we're going to be able to stop the run, because that sets everything else up. And the answer was surprisingly a resounding yes for the first half, much of the first half of the NC State game, which really kind of dictated terms from that point forward. Florida State ended up kind of terrorizing Leary there to the point they knocked him out of the game on a perfectly legal hit that was unfortunately characteristic of most officiating these days. A quarterback gets hit, that has to be a penalty because somebody touched a quarterback. That's unfortunate. But if you can do that here, if you can shut the run down again, and you're able to, now DJ's a different story. Getting to him, you better bring your lunch pail. He's a big kid, but you got to get him on the ground. Let's hope Fabian Lovett starts. I saw that in the chat right at the get-go at the outset of the show. Here's somebody asked the question. We don't know. I think it's a game time decision. I don't think we have any degree of certainty, and I don't think Mike is going to tell us.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're not allowed to really talk too much about what we see at practice in that regard. So, I mean, I know what happened at practice yesterday, and what's going on with that, but I we're not able to say. And moreover, I do really think it is just a game time decision, no matter what we see at practice this week.
It's critical. It's a critical development that you folks are going to want to be on the boards for. We got our pregame show on Saturday, 4:30 to 6:30. If there's an update before then, we'll let you know. Like maybe the kid goes on social media and says, all right, it's my time. But short of that, you're going to want to be on the boards around 7 o'clock, 7:15, because this game doesn't kick off till closer to 7:45. So I think around that time, 7:15, 7:15 on Saturday night, you'll see what's going on in the warm-ups. That will be the important thing.
Yeah, and again, what a boost it would be to get him back, because it's not just the physical prowess that he brings to the table, although that is a very significant and more impactful part than anything else you could name. But that guy is also their emotional and inspirational leader because of the work ethic, because of the time put in, because of the domination he's capable of. Guys look to him. We watched in practice when he would take over practices. We saw him in the LSU game early, deciding that, we have to ratchet things up here, because LSU has some early success between the tackles, and then it's, no, we're done here. And it's a grown man's game inside those tackles. And go back and watch replays of that game, the amount of times he just sheds and dominates and ends up, snuffing a play 2 yards downfield and 2nd and 8 set up for Florida State. That has not been there for the most part, not consistently, against anybody we faced since he's gone down. Now, Boston College is the exception. They were a little overwhelmed in terms of pass blocking, but rushing, they ran the ball between the tackles till they got down overwhelmingly so, and really couldn't afford to run. I think to win this game, he's got to play, Tom. I really believe. I don't think Florida State wins this game without him. I think he's that important.
Well, and it's not just, Shipley that you're trying to stop. It's also DJ. Again, you come back to it. They run basic read option looks a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And some of them turn into design quarterback runs where they have escorts, including the tailback can be an escort along with a pulling guard, things like that. But if you don't have what you believe to be at least a stalemate in the interior, then you've got to commit an extra body, and now you're out of a gap if you guess wrong. If you guess wrong on Shipley or DJ, and he's smart enough to read it out and make the play. Although I will say there are times when Will Shipley looks like he wants to kill DJ because he says, keep the ball.
Yeah.
Keep the ball. You're running for
killed.
days.
Yeah,
and it's like what we said with Jordan, the last couple of weeks, and he finally did it in the first half of the NC State game. And how much does he run for? Is it 70 yards? Whatever it was on one play. And you're like, it's there, man. So that happens for DJ at times, but you've got to be aware of that. And if you don't have Fabian and you're still continually banged up in the interior of the defensive line, which was a storyline on Saturday, who the hell are your reserves? That's going to be something that's a fact-finding mission during the game and warm-ups as well. If Fabian's back, let's just say for argument, that's great. That's really good news. Who are the next 3 guys who are playing in that 4-man rotation? You're going to have to find out on Saturday as these reps go.
Tired of holding my breath with injuries, but that's the reality of our situation. We can't just wish it away and hope that things were better, and all of that is true, but it doesn't change anything. And I get a question a day about why we're so banged up, and I really don't think it's anything that Florida State isn't doing, meaning they're not ignoring things that would keep them healthy. They're not doing things that, lead to this sort of thing. I mean, I just think when it comes to football, the guy lands on your knee sideways, you get rolled up on, you land on your shoulder awkwardly during a tackle. Things happen, but if they happen all at once, you're devastated. And we see it all the time in every sport. It's just when it's happening to your team, you feel put upon. When I watch the NFL or I watch college football, there's always a team where the storyline is, can you believe how decimated they are? But when it's somebody else, it is easier to watch from afar and go, well, it sucks for them. And then you just move on and don't think about it. When it's your team, you begin to point fingers and ask, what are we not doing? Why is it so?
Well, that's the million-foot view questions that I go back and forth with this week. Number one, on the positive side, is how in the hell are they doing this? With all of the injuries that they suffered in the Louisville game, they won it. With all the injuries they had suffered and the legacy of that Louisville game going into Wake Forest, they're in that game. They fight back from 28-7, and they've got massive deficiencies in Jared Versus on a pitch count, and yet they have an opportunity to win the game if a couple of members of the secondary make some plays that were right in front of their face. And then last week, you have this panoply of injuries and all of these self-inflicted mistakes.
Good use of panoply.
And you're in position to win the football game, even with every single one of those mistakes. It's only the last one, the interception in the end zone, that actually cost you and finished the job, cost you the game. You could still survive with all those. So that's the positive thing, is how in the hell are they in position to win these football games against ranked foes on a couple of occasions with what I thought was a thinner roster? Because it has to be deeper than I thought in preseason for them to be able to be in these positions. And then the other big question I'm asking is, why is the fourth quarter so hard so often for us? Why are we either holding our breath because we're choking away a lead, or we don't finish in a key situation?
Because we're not good enough. That's the other thing.
But these are competing things that are both true, and it's really hard to reconcile.
Yeah, but they're both true. That's the key thing that you just noted, is that they can be competing things and both be true, and they are. Florida State's a lot better than Florida State was a year ago, but they're not good enough to overcome all of these things through 4 quarters and get a win most days. They did win 4 games in a row. They won 2 really close football games out of those 4 that were, gut checks, for lack of a better term. And so when they win those games, we're on cloud 9, and we talk a lot about the heart and the effort and the want to and the what for and the difference between the mentality of last year's team and this year's team. When you lose close games, all that gets called into question. It's funny how it works. Win a couple of them, everybody's up here, and we laud them with their effort and their toughness, mentally and physically. They lose them, you're weak, you're soft, the coaches are idiots. That's how this works. And now, I don't want to go down the road to history here and all the time that I've been on the air. The time to criticize coaches is when you have better players every week and you're not getting the most out of them, and you're either losing games that you ought not lose, or you're involved in way too many close games despite having a superior roster. Then you start pointing directly at coaches, not when you are an underdog on the road to a ranked team and you lose by 2. Not when, not
unless it looks as it did for the first 30 minutes.
No. That was I'm not saying there isn't criticism.
Right.
The level to which it's taken is insane.
Fundamental.
I mean, come on. Let's not go there. So it's fascinating. It's hard to step back down off the ledge and reconcile things when you're frustrated, when you're pissed off. We've done this in our own lives with your significant others or your children or your best friend or whatever. When you're having a disagreement or something, it doesn't erase all of the things that you love about them and you care. It's that you're having a disagreement right now, or there's this thing that you've got to figure out. It doesn't change overall anything else fundamental about what that relationship is. Mike's changed, and his coaching staff has helped change the path of this program. They aren't where they want to be. They're going to lose games for a variety of reasons in some cases. And sometimes he makes poor decisions. Sometimes Jordan Travis, who's played really well, makes a poor decision. Jordan Travis has taken a step back each of the last 2 weeks. He has. Do I still think he's a good quarterback this year? Yep, I do. Do I think he's capable of winning a lot more football games with what remains on the schedule? I do. Do I think we'll see him have games where we talk about him in a glowing light as one of the best in this conference? Absolutely. Does it mean that he's infallible? No. And so when you have close games against teams that can actually ratchet up pressure and cover your receivers and beat your offensive line, is that going to force your quarterback into making some mistakes? It is. So you just
Right.
you're
And
constantly.
are you concerned now about how he's going to handle that when he takes it to the
Well,
sideline?
this is a good test again. He gets
Yeah.
another one of these opportunities.
Because the answer is yes. Going into this game, I'm concerned about how he would handle a few empty possessions in a row because he hasn't handled it great the last 2 times it's happened.
And that is the weight of expectation that we've kind of wrestled with as well. Like, when is it okay to say that somebody's pressing or a team is or not? Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later.
The cooler temperatures are finally here. Thank goodness. Summer is now in our rearview mirror. With the cooler temperatures, we're going to need someplace to warm up. Hearth and Patio can help you with that, whether it's a fireplace, a fire pit, or even warming up while you're grilling for your family. Hearth and Patio can help you with all of these. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning, and they keep us warm.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Jeff Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
played The Clash, of course, from London Calling, one of my favorite records. I want to see something, all right? So be prepared for this. This may end up bothering you here. Let's see what happens.
Bothering me?
Yeah.
You trying to play something over there?
Yeah, see if it was going to work. Yeah, it's good radio. Didn't work.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're messing with it.
Yeah, I'm playing the bumper.
Yeah, I'd already turned it off.
Oh, well, turn it back
So
up.
wait a minute. No, because we're going to get dinged.
No, it'll be inside of a half a second. Yeah, turn it back up for a second. Oh, cool.
There you go.
Yeah. So I can do this.
So that patches into this computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I know I can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this. I'll start playing my own bumper. It's all from my list.
It already is. Everything I play.
I know, but sometimes I get moods. I want to delve in. Now you erased me. You got rid of me. Don't do that. Bring me back up over here. You took away my thing. Now I'm looking at different screens. I don't care about those other screens. So by the way, the ACC predicted order of finish via CBS Sports, focusing on the ACC in basketball. Gary Parrish. Quick note, we are rapidly approaching basketball season. I will circle back and make a point about Jordan Travis and football in a moment.
Basketball.
There it is. No more having to see that SOB anymore, huh? Oh, what a breath of fresh air.
So you think.
Never having to see that dude in that ridiculous dye job.
You're going to get fired again, Seth Greenberg.
So it reads as follows, according to Gary Parrish in the ACC. North Carolina, no surprise. Duke, no surprise. Virginia, no real surprise there. But then Miami, huh? The Kansas State transfer that they're paying like gobs of money to help out Isaiah Wong, who thought he was that guy and found out they didn't care. Yeah, no, we're not going to give you anything. What do you think of them apples? Why don't you suck it? And then Isaiah had to go, okay, I see. Go ahead and give my money to the Nigel Pack kid. I got it. That was really kind of a quiet, fun story to follow. He tried to flex, and they went, yeah, you're a bum. Florida State, as it reads, was unusually bad last season while battling injuries pretty much from start to finish. 3 of the top 4 scorers missed at least 5 games. But if the Noles can stay healthy, the talent is in a place to be good. A core of returning scorers, Caleb Mills and former 5-star high school prospect Matthew Cleveland, should have Leonard Hamilton back in the NCAA tournament again this year for the 5th time in 6 seasons. Yeah, I would think. Losing the kid from Brown for the season,
yeah, that takes the wind down.
Bit of a kick in the cojones.
That's Gainey, yeah. And he was going to be a big-time presence for you along the glass.
We think. As a rebounder and a shot blocker, yeah.
He was going to fill up the score sheet in that way. He wasn't going to score 8-16 or go 16 and 8 every night.
No.
But, you kind of need that. It was a hole in the roster last year, and I don't know that we have any solutions this year that are as established as that player was. So, ouch.
Yeah, I'm unhappy about it. It is upsetting that happened, especially don't even get a chance to see the kid play. That bothers you a little bit, but we'll see. Did I tell you that I completed a 4-game moneyline parlay in the NFL with that Chiefs win the other night in Heart Attack Central?
No.
So I had...
there's a reason, because you didn't tell me before it happened.
I know. Well, I forgot that the Chiefs were the last leg of the moneyline, 4-team moneyline parlay that I bet. So the NFL fortune is coming back around. Tomorrow's Redemption Thursday. It's just on my mind. And I finally have now been able to kind of kick open the door.
You were never playing the NFL again until you.
Well, then I did.
NFL.
Well, I started playing the NFL again, and I've won 2 of my last 3 NFL picks, and I got that 4-team money line parlay, and yeah, So it's maybe it means I'm about to be fabulously wealthy with my NFL selections.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does.
It could mean that. You just don't know.
The odds are in your favor.
Yeah. All right, so we were talking about Jordan Travis before the break, not specifically Jordan Travis. It was a larger point we were making about where Florida State's at, where I think they can go, and maybe what this game will look like. But towards the end, we mentioned his demeanor, his body language, and the frustration that he exuded in the last football game which I do think suggests more than just a play breaking down or a receiver dropping a pass or a play call. I think that is indicative of a player that has very lofty expectations and is failing to meet them, whether he is, or his teammates are, his coach, whatever it might be. And that's good. I want my quarterback to believe that they can be capable of really consistent elite level play. And I don't think that Jordan Travis believed he was that player a year ago at all. But I think he thinks he's that player now. Now, I don't really care to have an argument about where I would place him on that list of elite to average to wherever. It doesn't really matter. I'm only talking about what he thinks. And I want my quarterback, no matter if he sucks, I want my quarterback, and he doesn't suck. But no matter what, I want my quarterback to believe that, because I think at that position, you'd better believe that. You better think you're capable. You better hold yourself to a very, very lofty standard. So I get being frustrated by not meeting that standard or having a series, or in this case, a half, in which it falls to pieces and the angst you feel reaches a place of boiling over. But I hope that in addition to sitting down and talking about decisions, in addition to sitting down and talking about, what went right, what went wrong, as you do after every game with every position group, as well as the team, you do this is every game. I hope there was a conversation about why it's important, and it has nothing to do with Mike Norvell with my feelings, because Mike's tough and he played ball and he gets it. Like, I don't think Mike's feelings are hurt when somebody yells at him, or his player kind of is frustrated and walks away. I don't think his feelings are hurt. I think he's trying to communicate, and he's like, hey man, we need to talk. But Jordan has to understand who's watching, and that's his teammates. Doesn't matter that you and I are watching. It's not a good look, doesn't really endear you to the fans, but that doesn't matter. It really more matters that your teammates see that frustration and they look to you as an unquestioned leader, unshakable, more importantly, unshakable, locked in, ready to go back to battle when something goes poorly, not hold on to those frustrations and failures. And it's the first time we've ever seen from him back-to-back games where things carried over, where a poor decision, a poor result carried over to the next series, carried over to the sidelines. That can't happen. That has to stop. You can't be that guy and expect to have your teammates feel about you the way they need to feel about you in the biggest moments of a football game. They got to believe 100% that you're moving on and you're capable and you're not angry with them, angry with a play call, angry with a result. It can't be. It has to be play the next play. It has to be what's up next. Next game, next quarter, next play. Has to be. Can never be what just occurred. There's a moment in time, maybe you throw that interception and the guy's returning it and whatever, you yell out F and the camera catches you. All right, whatever, man. And that's fine. But that has to be the end of it. And I just hope that, like you said, is not a burgeoning problem for him.
No, I think it's a lesson that's novel to him because a lot of this is brand new territory. You can be a pocket passer in high school, and that's fine, but there are going to be so many games when you're as gifted athletically as Jordan is. And I'm not just talking about with his legs. I'm saying as an athlete, throwing the ball, running with the football in your hands, that it doesn't matter. You could make the wrong decision and get the right result on the scoreboard. Because that's high school football. For most of the guys that come to Florida State, that's high school football. You could have the wrong process, but have a great result, and nobody's going to be the wiser.
Because you're the better athlete.
And they're not going to talk to you because you're the stud on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But now he is having to deal with quarterback-specific problems at a completely different level, where there are dudes that can do something about it. Even if you have the right process, you could have the wrong result. And in this case, he had been failed by his teammates time and time again, to the point where when he finally made a mistake, it's just the world is on fire. What's interesting to me, though, is he has some experience with being let down consistently on the field. I'm not talking about by coaches because he got that too.
Oh, good God. Last year, he was let down on every one-on-one matchup that they had.
And on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And you never saw him lose it on the 5 up front. He always praised them. He praised them in the offseason. He praised his receivers. He did everything that he was supposed to do. So I think if you're looking at the total resume of when he is let down, even with a coaching staff, Willie or Petrino before him, the dude still takes the high road most of the time. I just think what's happening is the world has changed for him in the last 6 weeks rapidly. He's gone from a dude that this fan base doesn't trust to this guy might be the top quarterback in the conference. That's the way he was playing through 3-4 games. You go, oh my God, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the conference. He's top 3. He might be the best player, the most dangerous one week in and week out in the conference, to now you're coming back to earth a little bit. That's a lot to process. All the while you're learning lessons as a quarterback that are novel to you about not showing up teammates or not pouting on the sideline. It's just, the man's had a lot happen in the last 45 days.
And this should be the game that we don't see it again.
I agree. You've got to learn from it. That doesn't mean that you can't continue down the road.
No, I mean, it's done. You've had 2 games worth of it. Let's go. Enough. Play within yourself. The expectations are what they are. This is what happens when you start winning games. This is part and parcel to the successes that come with hard work and improvement of a roster. So if he's going to be the player that he thinks he is and should be, and has been confident enough to be, to be up to this point, then this is what comes with it. I mean, this is, when you don't hear people criticizing body language or decisions or results, it's because they don't think you can play. So now you're going to hear it every week because people know you can play.
Yeah, nobody cares if Baker Mayfield looks and pouts on the sideline for Carolina.
That's every week. They suck. He's not any good. He's about to be out of the league.
Right.
Nobody cares. It's over. Yeah, I mean, that's right. It's ending quickly for that guy. But, I mean, for Jordan, his best days are in front of him. I really believe that. And he's got an opportunity. He's never going to be, Jameis Winston or Trevor Lawrence or any of the elite. He's not 6'5", 230 with a howitzer, but he's good enough to be a good college quarterback. So,
and he's shown that his capacity to learn and develop.
Oh, and the work ethic and the commitment and the ability to endure a lot of adversity. These are really admirable qualities and things that I've liked about him and why I've rooted for him, even when I was critical of some of his play last year, which was, there was a lot to criticize. But he is a much better player now, which is why we have expectations.
And I give a damn more about the now period versus the future. However, with that said, you just see all of these things that are happening for him and these developments, these transformations. And I think for a moment, well, if he came back, and I know there's speculation about whether he does or he doesn't and whatever, but if he came back next year, you talk about a grizzled vet who now has seen it and done it in every way that you can from the position. You wouldn't see that next year from him if he came back.
It's fascinating. I was there's a book that came out recently about 5-star quarterbacks and where are they now? And it's like this hodgepodge of everybody that you've ever heard of over the last 15 years in recruiting, right? And it's interesting to get their responses to what it was like during the recruiting process and why they went where they went. And everybody from like Tate Martell to Jameis Winston to all. Yeah, you've got
Tate Martell.
Right. So it shows the successes and all the failures as well. And a lot of the names are guys where you go, oh my God, I forgot about that guy. I remember he was Mr. Everything in recruitment.
Gunnar Kiel.
Okay, his name, he's in the book. So Gunnar Kiel's a really good one, Tom. So look, what happened to that kid, right? He was a prodigy. His brothers played. He was supposed to be the next great thing, all of that, right? Well, anyhow, when you go through all of that, you see so many instances in which those external expectations of a player either shape them and turn them into this fortified, mentally tough, badass, capable of taking on the world, because they've had to endure these expectations, first from their parents, then from their coaches, teammates, and then college and fans, and then later on pro scouts, right? And it breaks others. It just breaks others. They fall to pieces, never to be heard from again. This guy's a social worker in Albuquerque. This guy became on, nothing against that at all. Just somebody choosing a different career path because they couldn't handle the weight of those expectations. I find all that fascinating. When you become the guy as a quarterback like he is now, and you do have to make plays and carry your team, and you do have to lead as the unquestioned leader, because by definition you are as a quarterback. There's no getting out from that. You can't not be a great leader at quarterback. Man, that is a lot to adjust to, but it's also everything he's ever wanted, and that is the better way to look at it. Who cares about the external expectations Find yours. Those expectations you've always had of yourself led you to this moment.
I agree, and I think that's eventually where this is going. But listen to Jordan when he tells you that the external factors have affected him in the past. They affected his confidence. You know, he said on multiple occasions that I listened to people saying what I couldn't do, and I took that to heart. And in a way, this is not his word, but in a way, it's self-fulfilling. That's what he's telling us last year when he revealed that he almost gave up the game of football if not for Kenny Dillingham and Mike Norvell. And then this year when he said, I'm as confident as I've been since high school. And it's because I'm not listening to that noise anymore. You just wonder, though, that he's telling you his human nature is to allow the outside to affect what's going on right now at times.
Yeah, it's a problem
that's
for
the
him.
good. That's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But he learned how to flush it for the bad, and this is a brand new lesson for the good. And then here you go. Somewhere in the middle, it will land. And the track record largely says it won't be a problem much longer. But it has been an issue.
You do worry about it, though. If you've ever seen an indicator that, I guess if you embrace, Jimbo said a lot of things that annoyed all of us, and a lot of coaches repeat those refrains about process, and you hear them talk a ton about process, and for good reason. But we get tired of it. We roll our eyes because every coach repeats it. It's all from the same playbook. But if your imagination and wonderment is that you dreamt of being a professional quarterback, you had better somewhere along the way come to grips with and understand that as you improve and get to a point where that's even possible, the pressures, the external pressures, get much greater. And it can never be something that affects you. So the fact that it's affected him in the past worries you. It doesn't mean he's incapable, but it does worry you. Because a lot of the guys that deflect that early on those are also indicators that that's never going to be a problem for them.
Yeah. Yeah. What it does for me, though, is it gives me more hope for him because he's faced something that those quarterbacks have never faced before, which is the demons. And he found a way to go from a place where he's questioning whether he ever wants to play the sport again, sport that he loves, to being the toast of a football program such as Florida State's. And being one of the most improved players in the country year over year. I mean, it's not just us that are documenting this. I've heard on countless shows, television and radio and satellite alike, where they're saying that's a different dude this year. It's not just that their offensive line's better.
Yeah.
That dude is as improved as anybody I've seen on film year over year. So how is it that you've gone from a place to where you're listening to the critics and it's affecting you to you flushed it and you've gone to a place that you knew that you could go, but a lot of people doubted? That means that you faced the hard part of it. And a lot of those guys, they don't. Remember when Jameis, the Saturday against UF, after he had the hearing here at Florida State, the special
First
hearing.
time he was ever affected by anything.
And you could see it on his face. Even that week when he was coming in and out of the facility, they had the shots of it because, of course, the national media was here. You saw it for the first time. The outside world had made its way into the space between his ears. And he looked like ass that Saturday.
Yeah, well, he was broken in that week, but it's crazy because it took everything under the sun to get to that point.
That's what
crazy.
I'm saying.
Like Jordan's not facing that.
It took, what was that, 11 months? 13 months?
He quite literally didn't know what was being said, I found out later on.
Right.
Which is really part of the answer.
It is.
It is so much easier to say this than to live it as a young man now. I mean, I get it. I'm no longer young. I marvel at the expectations, external pressures that kids feel today. And it is easy for me to say, well, just stay off social media. It's stupid anyhow. It's not the real world anyhow. Because I know that's true. They don't. They've been immersed in it and lived in it since they were alive, since they've been born. They know no other thing than that world. And you just hope that somebody's able to, somewhere along the way, yank that stupid electronic device out of their hand and say, it's not real. That's not real. Those people are going to say what they're going to say, and there's nothing you can do about that. But that relationship you have with your parents, your coaches, your teammates, your girlfriend, whatever, that's real. Care about what they think. Care about the people that you love in your life and what they think, but nothing else. And go play ball, man. Go ball. Everybody's got a word about that play, about that game, but you just don't know. You never know if somebody has that. I know that Florida State does a very good job, and I'm not trying to overextend this into something much greater than it really is. Jordan will be fine. I'm not worried about Jordan Travis. I'm not. It's worth monitoring. It's why we're talking about it. We just saw it happen 2 weeks in a row. It's worth noting because we haven't seen it before. But and Florida State does I know this for a fact, Florida State does a very good job, most universities do these days, of providing opportunities to learn how to deal with expectations and the pressures that come, mental health, basically, how to, use these tools that you're given to deal with whatever's going on in your life, right? Everybody could use that. That's everybody. That's true of therapy in general, is give the tools you need to deal with any situation that you're going through. I think he's in an incredible place of support. I mean, his head coach rode with him after everything that was going on. And in terms of the failures and the losses, and that's a guy that was pretty well unwavering, at least in terms of believing that Mike sometimes to a fault stands by everybody on that football team. It's why they love him. I'm not saying he should have ever turned his back on Jordan. I'm saying that, Fitzgerald, all these guys, right? No, going to stick with him, Well, that's good. That's good. I want my head coach to do that. He's got a lot of tools to help him deal with the pressures of now being a good quarterback. It's just as simple as that. Let's hope that we begin to see it this week. I don't think they'll lose this game, or they could win the game because of him, but I don't think they'll lose the game because of him. I think they'll lose if they lose for different reasons. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The United Way of the Big Bend is launching a supply drive to help those impacted by Hurricane Ian. CEO Bernice Cox wants to pay it forward, as so many did for our area when Hurricane Michael hit 4 years ago. Water, food, cleaning supplies, and personal care items are near the top of the wish list. Some donations are bound for hard-hit Lee County. Others may go to Central Florida communities dealing with flooding. You can take donations to United Way's 7th Avenue offices. Longtime Leon County Commissioner Bill Proctor is backing incumbent Don Daly over Proctor's fellow County Commissioner Kristen Dozier. Proctor endorsed Daly during a news conference Tuesday morning at the Florida Press Center, saying he believes the mayor is committed to addressing the needs and concerns of Tallahassee. Daly and Dozier are in an expensive, close, and contentious battle for mayor of the capital city. After the primary, the two were separated by just a few dozen votes out of thousands cast for a field of 4 candidates. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They're now open at their new location on John Knox Road. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun this afternoon with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 86. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight, lows around 68, overcast skies. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. 85, a mix of clouds and sun. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 84.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Facek Brooks. Come back stronger with Facek Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We can talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
this, that if if it, in his case, if he's perceiving certain external pressures or perceiving certain things, he has to figure out why he's thinking that. I think it's just because of shifting expectations based on successes, not failures. But I don't again worry about it. I don't think there's a problem in his relationship. Some of you, I just checked during the commercial break in the chat, and some of you were talking about whether or not it's a problem with him and Mike or frustrations that are mounting there. No. I don't.
It hasn't looked like that. We've seen a lot of quarterback and head coach dust-ups over the years here, and this looks normal.
Yeah, and I don't think it's anything. Everything doesn't have to be to the extremes. I don't believe that we went from 0 to 100 here. I think you can disagree with a call or be frustrated by something. Look, built into modern offenses, and this is true of his offense and Jordan Travis's offense that he's running, are decisions and choices. So it's not like the old days. I remember playing football way back when, barely wore helmets, Tom. And the coach called a play, and that's the play. That's the play. You're going to run the play that I just called. And in the huddle, the quarterback would call the play, and there was no getting out of that play. That is not the case anymore. And even within a play, there are multitudes of options. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods. But the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it. And join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Biden administration is reassessing U.S.-Saudi relations after last week's OPEC Plus announcement. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
President Biden had been urging more oil production to ease gasoline prices and punish Moscow for its aggression in Ukraine. but OPEC Plus opted to cut production, angering the White House.
By the decision that OPEC Plus made last week, there certainly are aligning themselves with Russia.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the president is now reevaluating America's relationship with Saudi Arabia and the oil alliance, but there is no timeline for the review. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Also at townhall.com, speaking to the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says Vladimir Putin assumed Ukraine and the world would simply roll over as he invaded a sovereign country.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see how mistaken all those assumptions were, well, just look at the battlefield today and just look around this room.
In Brussels, NATO defense ministers are discussing ways to ramp up weapons production and give Ukraine the arms it needs to defend itself. They're also trying to protect vulnerable gas and oil pipelines and cables. In health news, the U.S. has authorized updated COVID-19 boosters for children as young as 5, seeking to expand protection ahead of an expected winter wave. Tweaked boosters rolled out for Americans 12 and older last month. Doses modified to target today's most common and contagious Omicron relative. Federal health officials are urging that people seek the extra protection ahead of those holiday gatherings. A volatile day on Wall Street. The Dow is up 30 points and the NASDAQ now ahead 18. More at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
when the Phillies take a 2-0 lead over the Braves. That'll be great. That'll be good. Well, 2-0 lead over the Braves. Maybe sweep the defending champions. That'd be good. And then we get Dodgers-Padres tonight. Not as late as last night. Yours truly trying to stick it out and watch late-night baseball. Next thing I know, it's the 5th inning. I can't do it.
I had hockey on in the background.
I watched us lose 3-1.
Yeah, my wife took in the game from the Garden.
I saw that. That was great.
That's pretty cool.
Best thing that happened that night, last night, besides your wife getting the opportunity to do that, was Stammer's slap shot at 197 miles per hour, whatever that was. That was insane.
He's on the precipice of 500 goals, man.
That was smoked.
He'd be at 625 if he hadn't had 7 injuries.
Mm-hmm. But that's a sport where
for sure. For sure.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I do wonder Saturday night. You think you feel that? Do you feel the nerves? Do you feel the everything? You know, I that's what the loss did, though. That really bothers me. The loss.
I would be feeling it right now in a big way.
Well, the loss took it all away, man. You know, not the season, not like what I think is possible for the for the team and all that. But we could have had, damn you guys, what we could have had Saturday night. But you're out here playing. Damn it, man. Losing that game up 17-3.
This is a reward yourself for the opportunities missed this weekend. Make up for it. Go in. Well, look, you get this one and you go into the bye week. There is your reward.
The problem with this game heading into a bye week is it presents this wonderful opportunity, as coaches like to say, to get a win and be a buzz for 2 weeks with doable games in the very near future that will get you excited. Lose it, you get to wallow in it for a little extra time on the heels of 2 other losses.
And maybe Georgia Tech wins another game and you go, uh-oh.
Well, we just know how rational people are. They'll handle a loss to a team that is most assuredly better at almost every single position than Florida State. They'll look at it very logically and say, well, that's to be expected. Bigger, stronger, faster program is in a much better place than Florida State's program. They'll just sit back and relax and understand that good times are coming because Georgia Tech's on the horizon. No.
Yeah, that's the hard part of being 4-3. I don't want to be 4-3, sir. We don't belong at 4-3.
Did I keep our?
But we could be at 4-3. And in fact, that's the likelihood, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I'll be interested to see who you pick. I've got to record the Warchant report later this week, and I am interested. I don't know. Maybe I won't know until that moment of truth, but I think people can tell I'm leaning a little bit towards Clemson.
I feel extremely well-versed in Clemson's offense and its quarterback. I do want to see – I know what the defense is. It's good, but I want to see –
You talking about Clemson's?
Yes, how good and where it is, and that will help me make a pick here. The problem for this game, too, is just – you win last week and adrenaline helps you push through a sequence of 3 games in 14 days against ranked opponents. You lose it, you got to summon it. It's a little harder to summon. I know that Clemson by itself will get you excited, but you could have that little extra to you. And they're banged up front. That's the other thing, too. And that's not giving away trade secrets. All our guys went down in the defensive interior in the second half of the NC State game. So, I mean,
we don't.
Damn it.
We got a lot of questions on that front, and we're going to continue to get them. And that is who's healthy, who's not. Can't tell you, don't know. Not from not paying attention,
Correct.
not from not all of it. It's just that guys are a wait and see right now. There are some that have a chance to play. Maybe Saturday night they're able to give it a go. Maybe they'll feel like they can do it without adding to the injury and causing further problems in games down the road. Others may not simply be able to go at all, and, we won't know until game time. So Saturday night, when Tom and I are doing the pregame show, Hotel Indigo, as much as we are excited to do so, the atmosphere will be good. The weather should be great. All that's true. Come on by, stop in, see us. Plenty of good food, drink, and fellow Seminoles hanging out, enjoying Hotel Indigo's rooftop. I'm really going to be locked in when we get our guys inside the stadium and they join us to tell us who's what.
Well, and the other thing is, let's say they dress. Let's say that you have, in any order, Farmer, of course, who looked to be very good in that game, but you've got Farmer and you've got Cooper and you got Jarrett Jackson and you got Malcolm Ray. All right, they're dressed. That's good, but that's only the beginning. That's nice to cross that off the list. I'm ignoring the elephant in the room that is Fabian Lovett, which would make us all feel great. A lot better about our chances.
He's got to play. He's just got to play.
But you got to be able to fill out a rotation. And even if all of the other guys are available on Saturday, I'm wondering for how many plays and to what level of aptitude. Because if they're all banged up from the NC State game, we've seen that. It's not just that Fabian Lovett's been missing the last couple of weeks. It's that the other guys are
getting hurt.
They're not 100% even when they're on the field. So that's the concern. And you're really not going to know until this thing bears out during the game. It's just that Fabian Lovett would be the giant domino that could help the equation.
Changes everything about what you're capable of. Even if he gives you maybe not the total number of snaps that you would typically have him for, you can utilize him in run situations and things like that, then you got a fighting chance. I really think Florida State's best chance is to get off to a good start and get this place rocking. You get this, avalanche this thing. That is something we saw a year ago. Now, DJ's been a better quarterback this year than he was a year ago by a lot. And I think there's an incorrect narrative that followed him from last year into this year. It was fine at the beginning of this year to say, well, let's see, because he hadn't been good.
Yeah, the Georgia Tech game was but I mean, since then.
Yeah, he's been really good. And so I get that it carried over from a year ago and that people were like, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers to you, because especially when you bring a 5-star quarterback behind him, people are waiting. How soon does he pull the trigger? Well, the kid figured it out and he's played well. And we've given you the numbers, and Tom, you did the deep dive. It'll be up on warchant.com, and you can look at Clemson's offense through that piece as well. I've watched a lot of Clemson, and the other misnomer, the other incorrect narrative is that their defense can be had because of the Wake game. Well, there were a rash of injuries in that secondary and a ton of freshmen having to play for Clemson in that game, and they got brutalized because of it. But that has not happened in any other game that they've played, and they're getting everybody back. So there's no reason to think because you saw 2 quarters of the Wake game that that's who they are, or that you saw DJ play last year, that's who he is now. That's just not true. And Clemson comes in here the better football team. Doesn't mean they can't be beat. They can be beat, but they are the better team. They are rightful favorites. Yeah. They ought to win the game. If they don't, it is an upset.
And the disparity last year, to be positive, was much greater in terms of relative talent on both of these rosters than it is this year. The road trip up to Clemson for that game prior to kickoff, the talent disparity was massive. And that would have been, and it could have been, and some might argue should have been, a humongous upset. This would not be.
Oh, it would have been a huge
This
upset.
would not be an earth-shattering upset. It would be an upset, but it wouldn't be the likes of which last year's was, because we're better. We are a lot better. And we've just got to do a few more things other than getting healthy to show that we know how to handle the situations a little bit better when you're playing teams like this.
Yeah, the bit of the problem, though, is, Tom, while we are a better team, I agree with you, and that, therefore, logically, you take the step and say, well, we're better now than we were a year ago and almost beat them there. But yeah, well, Jermaine Johnson played on last year's team, and he took over that game. And there's nobody on this defense besides Verse, maybe, but he's not as good against the run, that can do that. Maybe Verse does. We hinted in the first hour.
It's a nice performance from Tatum Bethune last week, too.
He played great. 14 tackles, sideline to sideline, diagnosed, came downhill, hit, looked healthy for the first time in a while.
Yeah, even though he was unavailable for a couple of drives there in the second half, which was curious, but they made plays downhill and they attacked after. Yep, that's right.
You got to shoot him up, baby.
That's right. You make sure.
Trying to get through a football game. Here we go.
Well, you got a bye week after this, too.
That's right.
You rest up.
Yeah.
But
Buck up, soldier. We're trying to get to the league.
Verse has shown signs that he can be dominant for stretches the way that Jermaine Johnson was dominant. I think that's fair to say. But this is a game that would put you in the class of a Jermaine Johnson if you can handle it consistently and be a force consistently. By the third quarter, Kirk Herbstreit saying, man, well, Jared Verse is just everywhere tonight, guys. If he's saying that, then now you're in the class of Jermaine Johnson. But he has already shown that for flashes and drives, he can do the same things. This is your opportunity to say you've gone to a different place.
Yeah, if you're not able to get to the game, you better be watching and hearing Kirk Herbstreit say something along the lines of, wow, they can't block him. Verse has been a menace tonight. Okay, that you got a shot. You got a shot at that point. Maybe you forced some mistakes. Maybe they've helped you out. I think Clemson's going to have to help Florida State out a little bit here. Not to say they won't, People do. Games are funny that way. Played by humans. Tend to make mistakes. Guys drop passes. See Florida State last week against NC State, in which they could have easily won the game had dudes not consistently drop passes.
Look, I get it's a trap game, but it's 3-3 late in the first half against Boston College. And we know what Boston College is or isn't. And that's not the only example of Clemson pulling a stunt like that this season.
They won't be disinterested this time.
I agree that they won't be disinterested. I'm just saying that even in games that they're interested in, they go brain dead for long stretches of a time. Wake Forest is one of those examples. I know what you're citing about injuries not being up to full speed, but you're up 14-0. How the hell are you losing 28-20 in the second half? You're Clemson.
Yeah, Wake's a good team, and they have a really good quarterback.
A 28-6 run, that is something.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think we know, though, that, I in a weird way, I think it's a feather in Clemson's hat to have won that game. I mean, everybody takes stuff away from that. Wake's good. I'm tired of having this discussion with Corey. I'm like, look, man, Wake's good. That's a good win for Clemson. Now, were there things about that game, if you're a Clemson fan, that startled you? Yes, I'm sure getting passed on like that'll hurt your feelings. But those are guys that you weren't planning to have to depend on in the secondary all throughout that game against a veteran group of receivers and a quarterback that if you don't get to him will make the throws. He does against everybody. So, you chalk that one up. They won the game. And since that point, they really haven't. That Boston College game, everybody talks about, well, how close it was. They covered easily. They won 31-3.
They did. I'm saying that the trend is that they can just go to sleep for a little while.
But we're not Boston College, and that's why they will not go asleep for a while.
Agreed.
But they are not going. It's a primetime game in Doak. We are still, no matter what our record's been, we are effing Florida State. And when you come out on this field, unlike Wake, when you come onto this field and you see the spear and you hear those fans and you're reminded of all the ass kickings that were delivered to your program for the better part of 30 years, you're going to get up for that game.
I agree. I would use the transitive property as well here since we're arguing relative games and strengths. Our defense did perform better against Wake's offense than Clemson's defense did. And we weren't at 100% either. There was no Fabian Lovett in that game. There was no Jared Verse for the first half of that football game, and they're in position to make a lot of plays. In a way, you get a little unlucky in that game because there's a lot of 50-50s that you're in position to make, but they do, and they get full credit for that. They've got players who have shown the consistency to make plays, but it's not nothing that our defense performed more admirably against Wake than Clemson's did by a lot. To
your point, though, how healthy is Florida State for this game? Clemson's healthier than they were against Wake Forest. Are we? I don't know if that's the answer.
Defensive interior.
The answer is probably no.
2 words, defensive interior. That's it. That's
so
huge.
If we're not, and they are, that almost makes that game a moot point. I mean, we could win. It's a Saturday night at Doak. The recipe to win is to get off to a great start. You might say, well, that's always the recipe. No, that's not always the recipe.
It wasn't the recipe against NC State. Got off to a fantastic start.
Right. Lost the game. Right.
LSU.
But I think here you have to infuse real belief. I think it's one thing to say it this week and to work hard and to lock it in or whatever, but now you get out there and some things start to go south and you've lost 2 straight games and you're battered and bruised. I do think that as Clemson gets emboldened and you get bereft of hope, as I'm fond of saying, it could get ugly. I'm not saying it will get ugly. If anybody's going to blow somebody out in this game, it is Clemson blowing Florida State out.
That's fair. This team doesn't get blown out, though.
Just
it would
saying,
be a first
if
for this group.
we do this game every week, usually on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to do the blowing out here, it's going to be Clemson blowing Florida State out.
Yeah, with deep shots. That's the thing that scares me. We talk about the defensive interior a lot. I think that they can account for that with extra personnel, but then you put your guys on an island, and DJ is just unafraid to take those shots down the field.
Right, and he should believe in those receivers. They've had better receivers at Clemson than they do currently, but they've recruited the position exceptionally well. Florida State has not up to this point. So,
and you're not allowed to play off coverage because he'll just use his 105-mile-an-hour fastball to take 6 yards. It doesn't matter if it's far hash, near hash, he'll do it. So you're forced to play up. And the defensive backs had a really good day today in practice. I saw some of it.
Good.
They're going to have to again. They're going to have to again this Saturday.
You know, I've been buoyed by the fact that our defense hasn't been the problem. Despite all of these injuries we keep referencing, they have not been the problem. These 2 losses, and you only have 2. You don't have 6 or 4. You have 2. And one of which is a road game against a top 15 team that you're an underdog to. In each of these games, the defense gave you a chance to win them. So, again, I turn my attention. I worry about the things that we're discussing. They're legitimate things to worry about, but I worry about this offense getting on the same page again, being able to block Clemson and finding some consistency in the passing game. Now, they may have been able to find that had guys just caught the damn ball. You know, we talked in the preseason. I had my well-vocalized and often vocalized concerns about Johnny Wilson's hands. And he, for the most part, has performed above and beyond what I thought he would do. And he gets credit for that. But he did have 2 huge drops in this game. And it's not the first time this year, but these were big drops this week. Unfortunately, he wasn't the only one. I'll live with him dropping a pass here or there, knowing that's who he is, because I also know that he's proven now in games he'll make big catches as well. It's that you have Pokey drop a ball inexplicably on a huge part of the game, huge moment in the game. You drop a touchdown pass, Malik McClain, that's a catch you've made before. You can't drop that ball, and he drops that ball. I'll argue maybe in favor of 32 having made a play as opposed to the drop that we had at tight end.
That's an absurd play too, because he's selling
Douglas
out.
is there, yeah.
He's selling out to stop the quarterback run.
But watch him.
I know.
He's smart.
It's a really good play.
Well, he's a really smart player. He's at another level in terms of recognizing flow and design. And like you watch him, he's very assertive on the play, and until he realizes what they're trying to do to him. And then he stops mid-play and realizes, and hauls ass back to where that throw's going. And that's somebody else's dude. It's just such a smart, instinctive, intuitive play from a guy who sees the bigger picture. You're lucky when you get a player like that. You know, we should convince him to leave that program that's not going anywhere and transfer on over to Tallahassee because he's good. Woo! What gives? Didn't see it.
Florida man in Texas just came in and asked a question, or somewhat. It's an over-under.
That I have a heart attack if coach calls for a fake punt during the game? No. Listen.
That happens too fast for a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
You're just like,
they had an opportunity there. It wasn't a called fake, but my man is running halfway down the field, could have made the first down. Inexplicably decided to kick it well past the line of scrimmage. Did not realize how penal a crime that really is on the football field.
Very penal.
It is as penal as they come. Brutal. Very frustrating. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Alabama this week. I am all kinds of pumped up for a lot of the games on the slate today. Can't wait for Redemption Thursday tomorrow. Continue to widen my lead over my mother and my NFL picks. Things are starting to move in the right direction when it comes to the redemption wagers, sir.
Is that Alabama-Tennessee game? Oh, it's a 3:30.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Right.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that game.
I have requested, and there will be a television presence on the deck outside at Hotel Indigo, so we'll have the game on there.
It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Really looking forward to it. I saw some dubious numbers this week regarding what's happened to Oklahoma. Oh, Brent Venables out here losing 49-0. We'll have people quickly saying, maybe you're just a coordinator. That's how that works, right?
No,
when you get
don't
that
let
job.
him go home with his tail tucked between his legs. He's got to do well enough to hang out there for a little while.
So this was interesting from Bill Connolly this week. It's difficult to underachieve against the spread for a particular period of time because the books adjust. If a team is worse than expected, the bar will keep being lowered until the equilibrium is found. Sometimes, however, a collapse comes so swiftly that it takes a while to find equilibrium. Sometimes you pull a John Malkovich or a Turner Gill. Remember Turner Gill was the talk of the town for a while?
Buffalo.
Yeah. Which brings us to Oklahoma. Largest underachievement versus the spread in a 3-game span for a once-ranked team over the last 30 years. Number 1, 1997 Texas, minus 110.5 points to the spread. 2011 Texas Tech, minus 107.5 points to the spread. 99 UCLA, tint of suspicion born. 2005 Colorado, and this year's Oklahoma, minus 98. Just 3 weeks ago, Venables' first Sooner team was 3-0, having just boat raced Nebraska, favored by 10.5 points. They won by 49-14 margin. They were 13.5-point home favorites against Kansas State, whom they lost to. That Kansas State team had just lost to Tulane prior to beating Oklahoma. And then you know what happened with TCU beating them 55-24. And then Texas 49-0. It's weird to watch. It's football. Coaching is so fascinating. My view on coaching in the college football world has changed so much, probably more than any one thing since I've done this job, which now goes back a long ways. Like in terms of the shift of the way I view coaches has probably changed more dramatically than anything else in the way that I view the game. There's probably nothing greater. It's fascinating. I think it's because of the 25 years of talking with coaches, listening to coaches, having off-the-record conversations with coaches, and hearing not only them explain things, but the way things tick, like the way that they tick. It's fascinating.
Yeah, there's more upper-level management to it.
A lot more.
Than just being a hot shot coordinator who it's his
because they're
time.
a dime a dozen.
Right.
They really are. And also,
they seem flashier for a time, but as this is the best part of segmentation for sports interest, niche interests, is now Edge NFL Matchup used to be buried at 4:30 in the morning on ESPN2.
And it was such a fun show.
With Jaws and Merrill Hodge and Sal.
Right.
And now that's an industry. Like people want to know. Pro Football Focus is a thing, and that's not the be all end all. I'm just saying that's the successful one. But there are all these sites and YouTube channels and all kinds of things dedicated to specifically knowing the game and knowing it better if you're a casual fan.
Yeah.
Smart Football was one of the first on the internet to take it to another place.
You could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's great. But now you realize that, with all of this knowledge that makes it to the casual fan, that just because you're a hotshot offensive coordinator who may look good in a sweater vest for your school going into living rooms of mom and dad, like that's all well and good, but there is so much more management to the position.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much more. Dabo's success is proof that you do not have to be a hotshot know-it-all X's and O's guy in order to succeed at this level. In fact, he's probably the most proof that you need to win the argument and say, that dude is one of the best coaches in college football. Do you know why? It's got little to do with game day coaching.
Well, you think about how quickly it happens too. So, I don't know, LSU's offensive coordinator, the younger one, he was a co-offensive coordinator for LSU, and was it 2018 when they went off?
Joe Brady?
Yeah. So how quickly Joe Brady goes from the penthouse to the outhouse. I mean, what happened to the boy genius that changed LSU's offense overnight into arguably, certainly the most prolific college offense we've ever seen?
Sean Payton disciple that Ed O saw in a camp down in New Orleans.
Falls into it.
Yeah.
Loved his answers on the whiteboard. Went, this kid is a star. Turns out he was right, briefly, with Joe Burrow and weapons galore at LSU. He gets the job in the NFL as a very young guy, gets to go to Carolina, gets to have this opportunity. They have failed miserably. Staff's been replaced. Did he get dumber? No. He's still the guy that was seen, plucked, and successful at LSU that just got fired with everybody else at Carolina.
And who knows, maybe in 20 years he can be Norm Chow,
who was also the guy
on his 19th team.
Yeah. No, it is fascinating. And it does have to do with a lot of the stuff that isn't the day-to-day or isn't the X's and O's, but the day-to-day operations instead. And I find that immensely fascinating. Now, again, you need a coordinator, clearly. You need a coach. Like if your head coach is a play caller, meaning in game, I love that because I want to know where the buck stops. I can look at the stuff off the field.
It's easier to analyze. Yeah.
It's easier to analyze. It's also important to be able to say, okay, well, I know who called that play. Now, again, even that has changed a lot in my eyes. Plays used to bother me a lot. Certain plays bothered me a lot. They still do, but I'm more bothered by game management, time management, clock management than I ever am about plays. The last play, the interception, has been the focus from this fan base a lot this week, right? About why was that play called? No, I don't have a problem with the play. I have a problem within the play of the decision from the quarterback, especially since there was off coverage, all of that. But the play itself doesn't bother me because he had options.
Yeah.
He could
5 of them.
Yeah.
A couple of which were pretty well open.
Better options, Tom.
Yeah.
Better options. But it does not bother me to I don't. There are moments like, listen, when we get cute inside the 10, I will call a coach out for play calling.
Ooh, and we do.
When we get cute inside the 10,
that's every time we're inside the 10.
That bothers me a lot. That's bitch football. I got no time for. That bothers me to no end.
My mic was on.
Sorry about that, but I'm saying that now I will complain about that because there are certain parts of this game that will always be about toughness. Will always be about that. But hey, that's the only time I'm really going to bring that up. Everything else.
Let's not do that for the sake of the show moving forward, Mike. I didn't. That was a real crisp jab. You go, whoo, that.
Well, we need to stop doing that.
That might have been a straight left. I don't know that was a jab.
Stop doing that, man.
I agree. But you know what? A Wyatt Rector sneak. There you go. It's a little trick.
That's gimmicky, but all right.
No, I'm saying that's part of the gimmick. You're about a double reverse. What do you think? Second and goal from the 1. I think it's going to be open.
Jet sweep from the 2. Get the hell out of here with that.
We had a DJ Lundy fullback dive out of the goal line set against LSU. It barely worked, but it worked.
By the way, Florida man in Texas, not even red zone. Not even red zone. Inside the 5. That's specific about play calling. That it really is.
Yeah, there was a bailout. And it was Tate Rodemaker to Johnny Wilson on 3rd down in that sequence against Louisville.
Right.
Everything else is blown up. That play is open because Johnny is. But if you don't make that throw, and it's a tough one to make, and if you don't make that catch, it's a tough one to make. We're lining up Fitzy there?
Yeah, man. It's
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. I just think it's really interesting to
you've got different buttons that coaches push now. Before it was, if you're not the smartest sounding dude on the podium, then I think less of you. Now it's, hey, you don't have to be as long as you surround yourself with smart people.
Well, now it's this. Who are you? And do you remain that in the wake of failure and success? Are you that person? I got to know you're real. Okay. I don't care. Your expertise could very well be as a manager. You very well could be the guy behind the scenes that's able to recruit really well and raise money for the program. That's vitally important. And that's your job. If you're a CEO coach, fine. Dabo Swinney's a CEO coach. Nobody's talking about that guy being some sort of Mensa of a play caller because he's not. He's a CEO coach. He's a big picture guy.
And you'll see it this weekend. He's on the headset of a hell of a lot more.
Which has got to concern Clemson fans. But the point would be, he does what he does really well. And that matters. That's as long as you know what you are and you do it well and let others do what they do, then that's fine.
Mac Brown got Vince Young. He brought him into town.
You finally came over to my Mac Brown way of thinking. I've ripped Mac Brown forever.
Well, I mean,
they lauded him at Texas like he'd done something. The man won 2 conference titles in 16 years. Fell into Vince Young and won a national championship.
And you should know. You're wearing burnt orange right now. You should know.
Burnt orange.
That's right.
Well, Mac Brown loving.
Oh, yes, I was on that train after the first year in North Carolina when everybody is falling prostrate before Mac, and because he went 7-6. Like, really? So we're all gonna just worship Mac Brown because they won 7 games?
Yeah, I know.
Wait a minute. He's got a couple good recruiting classes, but he's failed with better players before. Wait till you see what he does with May in the next year or two. They're going to be in position to win some really big games, and they won't. But that kid,
he's a really good player.
That kid is,
he's a really good player.
Maybe he could be the exception, but he's going to need every bit. And he didn't look that great against Miami this weekend.
No.
I digress.
Our Wilmer, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know because we're busy doing nonsense. We wouldn't know. And I'm not talking about trying to line up at the 7.
Right.
Even
if you're at the 3 and let's say that you've got a Wildcat and you're running power off of it, that's not getting cute, right?
Right.
Because he does that on 4th and short all the time anyway, with Jayshon Corbin last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big facet of the offense,
yeah.
especially with McKenzie
That's
as a
straightforward.
quarterback.
It's hard-nosed.
He's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to line up, and it's going to be physical. It's not going to be traditional pre-snap, but it's going to be based in physicality. That's what the DJ Lundy play was. You could say that's a gadget.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think that's a fullback dive.
That is a fullback dive with a kid who plays linebacker. I mean, okay, I got it.
That's what Thunder wants.
Yeah, there he is. Tom, I'll tell you, that's a great example. So Mel Tucker, you just brought up Michigan State in the chat for those that don't know. Mel Tucker was just paid $400 billion to be the head coach at Michigan State based on last season. Michigan State sucks.
400 billion yen.
I mean, that team is ass. They'll probably lose against sorry Wisconsin this week. They're sorry. Michigan State's going to finish with a sub 500 record. But Mel Tucker was the guy everybody used to argue against Mike Norvell. I don't see that in the chat anymore. What's going on? Mel Tucker's a good football coach. They're terrible this year. I mean, bad. If you watch them play, they suck. Not any good at all. He just must be an idiot.
I have not watched them play. I am proud to report.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida A&M has named Dartmouth College Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director for Varsity Sports and Senior Woman Administrator Tiffany Dawn Sykes as its next Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. Sykes has a strong athletic background, working through the ranks of sports information and compliance for 2 decades at St. Paul's College, Virginia Union, and Grambling State before heading to Dartmouth. The hiring of Sykes completes a months-long search after former FAMU AD Courtney Gosha resigned abruptly in April. 3 people suffered gunshot wounds in 2 separate shootings Friday and Saturday in Tallahassee. Police say Friday night, just before 11 p.m., a man suffered serious injuries after a shooting at Hickory Hill Apartments on Jackson Bluff Road. This is at least the 3rd shooting this year in that area, and less than 8 hours later, 2 men were shot in the 4100 block of Rich Haven Road. No arrests have been made in either incident, and the investigations are still ongoing. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They're now open at their new location on John Knox Road. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun this afternoon with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 86. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows around 68. Overcast skies. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. 85. A mix of clouds and sun. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 85.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg.
Do you know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yes, good people, hard workers, the best in the business. A lot of roofing companies hire out subcontractors to do their work for them. T-Spark Enterprises hires employees. They value the benefits that come with having a trusted, reliable, and highly trained crew that can be held to high standards. That's what T-Spark is known for. Experts in their craft and pride in their work. That's the T-Spark difference. T-Spark, best in town. Give them a call today, 766-1340, or get a free quote online at tsparkconstruction.com. That's simple. Woo! Oh. What did I miss?
Marcus is using a play on words for Balls McWednesday.
Instead of Balls McWednesday, it's Balsamic Wednesday there. What kind of salad do you like? I prefer the chicken kind of salad. Happy Balls McWednesday. Yeah, I had a salad today. Had one this morning. Well, this morning it's not right. 11:30.
Yeah.
And
a little lunchtime action.
Yeah. And I prefer the giant salads, Marcus. I get a salad if I'm making my own.
Spinach?
No.
Okay.
Although I will eat spinach salads. But I had just an Italian mix is what I had. And I get a giant bowl. Boy, I got a whole system. You ready? I've got raisins, I've got tomatoes, I've got almonds. A lot of people put the almonds in there. I do. So
a little cruncher.
So then let's say I cook a fillet of salmon and I cut it up because I'm known to do that. And then I put half the fillet at the bottom along with the tomatoes and the almonds and the raisins. And then I sprinkle a level of lettuce. Then I grab my dressing, pour it on the middle, and that's like the equator. And then I put the next thing of lettuce on top.
Does it have a little cheese in that dressing?
Oh, without question. You don't like the cheese, I know, but I'll get the shredded sharp cheddar, sprinkle it across there, very sharp. I want it to cause me to recoil. It's so sharp.
Could cut glass. It's so sharp.
And then I put the second layer of lettuce on and the other part of the salmon with the tomatoes, the almonds, and another layer of the sharp cheddar, and then the dressing. And I want it to be, virtually calorie-free dressing, not because I'm worried about calories, but because I want to smother my salad. It should be drenched.
This sounds like it's a bucket-sized salad.
It's a big salad. It should last you for much of the day. You should feel like, okay, I can't. I've had too much salad.
All this fiber. My goodness. My poor family.
Yeah, no, that's I'm big time on that kind of that's the salad answer. Marcus, you probably never expected a thorough answer like that.
That was a great answer.
That's my answer.
Good job, Marcus.
That's what I do. Either that or tuna. Big old tuna salad. I like that. I mean, not like tuna salad, like salad with tuna.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that slop that they put in the scooper.
No. None of the scooper. None of that nonsense. No. You get a can of tuna, pole-caught tuna, chop it up.
Pole-caught?
Yeah. Pole-caught. As in with a pole. Like
a pole-caught? That means he got arrested. Poe caught him.
Yeah, that's it right there. I get after it, chop it up, and I drench it. You have to.
So, okay, power rankings, dressing of choice, top 3. You don't have to put it in particular order. Could be fluid based upon, all salad dressing is fluid, but you get the point.
Vinegar based. I want a lot of vinegar.
Yep.
I need it to be a tough eat.
There you go.
I want to be like, there's so much vinegar here. I got to do it again. That's how I want.
So that's the key. As long as it's just got a lot of vinegar.
A lot of vinegar. Yeah. Now I know, won't eat like a mayonnaise-based dressing.
Thousand Island?
You couldn't do it.
Punt that into the sun.
What about French dressing? Couldn't do it, could you?
Nope. No, sir.
Same thing, right? Same problem.
No, classic Italian, the orange kind.
I like that too.
Oh, that's good.
But I also want that to be vicious. I want to be like, oh God, this Italian dressing's got so much vinegar.
Any reduction vinaigrette? I'm listening.
You're in.
You have my attention.
Yeah. Little jalapenos on there. I chop up some jalapenos to go. Let's go. Throw some jalapenos on there and chop them up. Get loose.
The fresh kind, not the pickled kind. When you go to the salad, you want the fresh kind.
My buddy Matt makes this match jalaps, as he calls them. He's got jalapenos that he grows at his.
It makes a what?
So his name's Matt, and he has jalapenos. You know how jalapenos spelled?
No. Oh yeah.
It's match jalaps is what he calls them.
Match jalap. Okay, yeah. I was hearing match with a CH.
No. And then anyhow, he's a friend of mine, so he'll bring me fresh jalapenos that he grows, and they're brutal. I love them. This is when you get old, your taste buds get challenged, so you have to do everything you can to spice it up. It's like your love life.
Well, I'll tell you what. So today, not about love life, but after practice, I stopped by our favorite little taco joint that will remain nameless on the way in. And I got the chorizo tacos, which I enjoy. But then I asked them to add the jalapeno, the fresh jalapeno. It wasn't enough because it's spicy by itself and with that red sauce. But then they threw the jalapenos on it. That's a great call.
So it is that we move on from dressing. And I tell you that, by the way, your first class is always free at Orange Theory Fitness. If you don't know about that class, you should go there and take it and find out what I'm talking about. It'll be good for you. You'll learn about that heart rate monitor, the science-based back that they use so that you guarantee success. First month is free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. So they got a lot of motivation there to get you in there. 2 locations in Tallahassee, Florida.
What is the most mayo-based dressing of a fan base in the ACC? Is it Clemson?
Oh, without question. It has to be right.
Right, yeah.
We don't have a Mississippi in this conference.
Yeah.
But if we did, that would have been the answer.
It's got to be Clemson.
Starkville.
Louisville, maybe?
Starkville's got mayonnaise on their shirt collars. That's... Oh, see what you did?
Way to go, Marcus.
I got to come back and do probables, and I screwed this whole thing up. We got derailed with dressing. We just had to dial it back a little. We got so serious today. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. Be in the game at halftime. Be in the game at halftime Saturday. I want this crowd to have a chance to change the outcome of a game, because in college, it can. It doesn't really matter in the pros, but in college, it can.
We win this game. What do you say? Do a shot of Thousand Island dressing?
No, let's do a shot of real alcohol. Let's do a shot of liquor together, right? Yes, right there on the Sunday Smash or the Monday Watch Along or whatever the hell we want to do.
The rewatch along? Yeah. We do a Monday rewatch along?
We can do it from our house so that we
Folks,
avoid
I'm not going to remember the second half of this rewatch along. So let's hit it. Hit the bean footage.
Oh, man. We'll come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem. So today, it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number one priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Thanks in part to our good friends at Tallulah CBD and Juiced Bar. Got the floating going to go on next week. Looking forward to it.
Did you book it?
I've got a steady invite, Tom.
Oh, so you just need to show up.
I just got to show up. They'll kick people out of the pods. But yeah,
out of the pod.
Yeah, Cameron's here, guys. Your pod time's up, but I've only been here for 17 minutes.
Come on, man. I was just floating.
Yeah, you're floating your ass home.
It's like Modest Mouse once said. Go ahead and float on.
Yeah.
Out of here.
CBD, Delta H, 8 THC, Delta 10, Delta 9, THC, HHC, hemp, vapes, flower, all of it. It's all there. High quality.
Oh, boo.
No medical card needed. What? No, that wasn't the joke. It's high quality material.
There was a pregnant pause there. I thought you were waiting for the laugh track.
No.
I know you love laugh tracks.
So listen, you get CBD there that's non-psychoactive, guys. This isn't all about just getting high and getting down. That's not what I'm saying. You can.
Yeah.
Now that's not what this is.
Now I'm going to get the drop from Batman Begins where he says psychotropic hallucinogen. And then we're going to play that. Panic-inducing toxin.
All right, here we go. Fire it up. Let's get to some probables. Not much, but we got games, so we'll do it.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Can you believe it's already the 12th? October's flying.
I know. We're halfway to my birthday this month.
At 4:35, Kyle Wright will take the hill for the Braves. He's had a spectacular season, so it will be inexplicable when he gives up 7 in the first, and the Phillies start to take a dominant 2-0 lead over the Braves.
That is a scenario.
That is a hope. Zach Wheeler will be at the helm for the Phillies. Padres, Dodgers tonight, where the hope is that Yu Darvish continues to be filthy, even up against a really good Dodgers lineup. Clayton Kershaw will be on the hill for the Dodgers, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. I already took a sneak peek because tomorrow, Framber Valdez will be going for the Astros. But that 3-run, that home run, that walk-off yesterday,
boy,
that'll hurt your feelings.
An early day off for the ALDS. Strange.
Did you hear how loud that was, that home run?
Yeah.
430 whatever feet. I just thought, my God, sir, that can't happen.
Old Robbie Ray. Hey.
Robbie Ray!
Hey, and it's gone.
Devontae Adams charged with misdemeanor assault for shoving that media worker down. And I know he shouldn't have done it, and it's an awful thing to do. And it certainly reveals perhaps a lapse of character. But I have to say, I watched it on a loop because I cracked up. Every time I saw that guy go tumbling to the earth, I chuckled. It's an awful thing. Nobody should do that. We get it. It's easy. That's self-explanatory. But it was still funny. I was like, look at that. His feet are straight up. My man, get your hands up. What are we doing? Oh, man. People get so mad. I get it, man.
I have yet to see it. I guess I need to look at it.
You should watch it, yeah. He just shoves your boy to the ground. Now that guy's going to tell everybody that he's got whiplash and a headache and everything else, which is...
Here comes the neck brace.
Mm-hmm. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening. We appreciate it. Be well. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a